Hello, hello, hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Sunday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. Welcome. Happy 3rd of July. I guess 4th of July Eve. Got a quick one for you today. It was one of those days. I can't say it squeezed more out of me, but it definitely was one of those days that kind of just, so yeah, T-Money, what's up? What is going on? I'm only, I don't know, 17 minutes late. That's not too bad, actually. So tonight, the power is in the prayer, and some of you prayer warriors out there, I know you believe that wholeheartedly, and some may not. Either way, that's okay. But I want to give you a little story, and this may be a short story. This may be a story that you may say, oh, you may roll your eyes, or you may say, oh, wow, I believe that. So it really depends where you stand, I guess, right? But I want you to know that on Sundays I I don't always, but I try to focus more on maybe prayer related or stories of that sort. So I found this story pretty interesting because it's an unusual one, right? And it just kind of gives you that perspective on prayer. Like I said, some of you may believe, some of you may not. Totally cool either way. So father, son are walking in the desert. This is back in the day, right? Or they're walking, they're taking a trip, and money is probably asleep. And the father, because of old age, he actually passes. Now, there's not a lot of people around, so there's a shepherd around, and the shepherd turns to the son, or the son turns to the shepherd and says, who here gives prayers to the dead? And the shepherd says, well, there's not a lot of people around, so it's just really me. I do that, And the son, well, they didn't have a whole lot of choice, and they said, okay. So the shepherd says a prayer, and it's like a really short prayer. And he's done, and the son looks at him, and they bury the father. And that night, when the son goes to sleep, he actually dreams of his dad, that he's safe and he's happy. So he asks his dad. He says, "Hey, I'm glad to see you safe and happy, but how come you're happy and safe?" And the dad says, "You know what? Everything I'm experiencing is because of the prayer of that shepherd." So the son, when he wakes up then the next day, goes to the shepherd, and he remembers the dream, goes to him and says, "Hey, what did you pray? What was your prayer for my dad? What is your prayer? What did you pray? What did you pray? Oh my goodness. What did you pray?" I kept adding an ER at the end. "What did you pray over my dad?" And he says, "Oh, I just prayed, and I said, hey, I know if this man was going to be my guest tonight, I would have sacrificed a sheep for him tonight. I wonder what you would do for him." Now, take a second. Take that in for a second. It may not dawn on you right away, okay? But I think that's so powerful and so good and so beautiful. You know, a simple prayer says, listen, I know if this man would have been my guest, I would have treated him with respect, with love. I would have sacrificed the sheep for him. I know when he's going to be your guest, can't even imagine what you're going to do for him. Now, that's a prayer, a very unusual prayer from someone, especially someone you don't even know, right? But I want you to think about that. Maybe in your life, you are somebody who believes in prayers now. Maybe now you believe in it because you have a story to tell. Maybe you have one of those stories that that you can't even explain without the use of prayers. Maybe maybe that's the case. Or maybe something just drastic happened in your life, and all of a sudden you had to drop on your knees and look up as high as you could and pray for something. And it just happened. And now you're just a believer, and you just now I'm talking about prayers. Now you could be Swahili, Buddhist, Muslim, Christian, Catholic. I'm talking about prayers, right? Like T-Money, right? Can't convince them saying, hey, prayers don't exist. It's like saying gravity doesn't exist. It's kind of, kind of rough to deal with that, right? So, Michael, how are you, bro? Good to see you, man. So maybe a drastic, event or experience made you completely just like, lights went on and you're like, oh yeah, I'm all in. Maybe somebody prayed for you and made you a believer. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Even if you don't believe in it, it doesn't matter, right? It's like that story that I told the other night. Berkeley, the Berkeley guy. I love saying that. The Berkeley guy. If a tree fell in a forest, nobody was there to hear it or see it. Did a tree actually fall? Did the tree actually fall? It's the same thing here. Whether you believe in the prayer or not, it works, right? It works. Now, here's what I want to share with you. It works, and it doesn't. This is the whole punchline of this story, what I want to get to. I know I dragged on, but I thought it's such a wholesome, good little story. And I don't see it morbid at all, but I don't know, maybe some of you do. But here's the whole point of the story. See, okay. When I became a Christian, I'll give you this little thing. I got to plug this in. When I became a Christian, they told me that I could read the Bible in the bathroom. I mean, if I'm sitting in the bathroom or in the shower or whatever, in the tub or whatever, I can read the Bible. I can write on it. I can highlight it. I can do all kinds of stuff. And when I heard that, I was looking. I remember the person who told me that. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? You can't do that. You can't. What? Write on the Bible. Read it in the bathroom. That's disrespectful. See, I thought you had to be at a certain place at a certain time, dressed in a certain way, cleaned in a certain way, sat in a proper way to say a prayer or to read the Holy Book. That's what I was taught. But I'm here to share with you, it doesn't have to be like that. And this is the point of the story and my going on in circles. It doesn't have to be this elaborate coming from God himself and his uncle, and in this high church, and you dressed in a tuxedo and the polished shoes, and it has to be 37 minutes long. It doesn't have to be like that. That's the beauty of the prayer. It doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be like this. Oh my God, it's amazing. I can't pray because I'm not dressed up. I can't pray because, it's not Sunday. I can't pray because, I don't, I just, it doesn't have to be like that, which is so cool. How cool is that? That you can say a prayer in your heart for somebody, I don't know, 20 seconds, 34 seconds, and be as powerful and as impactful as a prayer told by somebody for 18 minutes. And I think that's amazing. And I think that in itself has power. And I think that's worth reminding yourself of. And I think that's what I needed today. I needed to remind myself of that, because sometimes you sit down, like once in a while, I feel like I say a prayer and I feel like I rushed through that, and I feel like I did bad. Like, I feel like, oh my God, God is not gonna like me. Like right now, he's gonna, I feel that way. I don't know. Is that wrong? Am I the only one? Did I just admit something? I totally admitted it. Sometimes I rush through it and I'm like, oh man, gosh, I don't know if that prayer is gonna count. Like, you know what I mean? But I guess I needed that reminder. And when you pray believing that it is, prayer, you know what? There's a difference between praying and begging, right? And I had to learn that. And I was just reminded of that, reminded. Sometimes we pray, and I've talked about this in other lives, right? Sometimes we pray, but we're really begging. Oh God, please, can you please, God, I pray this. It's like begging for everything. And then there are other times you pray with confidence because you already know it's done. Because you believe it. It's your destiny, it's your faith. It's supposed to. Right? So there's a big difference between praying and begging. So stop begging. Nobody likes to be begged, right? Nobody likes to be begged, especially Almighty up there. Come on, seriously. Now, the cool thing about that is that it can be brief, it can be short, and you can do it in your jammies, and you can do it in your briefs, or for the ladies out there, you can do it in your bikinis or whatever it is. You can. That's the power of the prayer, and I don't want you to forget that. Hey Lori, how are you? Welcome, good to see you. Hopefully you circle back, watch the beginning. I'm about to wrap it up, but asking what God instead of why God. Ooh, let me see that lesson in that, and I gotta see more situations. I like that T-Money. I really, I like stuff like that. I like that. You dropping some bombs right now. So so I want you to know. Hey, listen. For those of you out there who believe in the prayer, know that some of the short ones have a lot of impact. A lot of impact. It's good to see you here. It's so good to see you here. We have missed you and your input and your feedback as well. So yeah, it could be a little tiny one. It could be a short one. It could be brief. It could be anywhere. It could be on the run. It could be in the street, on the sidewalk. That's the cool thing. And I think sometimes we forget that. I know I do. And I kind of wanted a reminder, and I got that reminder, and it was awesome. And I wanted to share that with you. Hopefully, you guys get some love, some inspiration, some value. Um, my head is banging, so I'm gonna be turning in. I'm gonna take one of my little healthy, organic little sleep thingies and just knock myself out and be gone. So drop your feedback, your comments below. Let this feed grow. I appreciate you guys. And until tomorrow, 4th of July, when we do it all over again. Much love.